In the last video, I briefly talked about how major record labels use what's known as a branding strategy to promote major artists. Now, we're going to talk about that a little bit more. I'm going to explain a little bit more about what that is in this video. But first, I want to explain what direct response marketing is, because essentially it's kind of the opposite of a branding approach. And a direct response approach is what we're going to be doing because it's going to be a lot more effective for an independent artist on a budget. Direct response is a type of marketing that elicits a specific measurable result. So examples of these types of results include clicking on an ad, an email newsletter sign up, an album sale, someone streaming a track, someone downloading a track. This is all stuff that is very, very measurable. When we run an ad online, we can tell exactly how many people click that ad. We can tell how many unique visitors click that ad. We can tell where that traffic came from. So if somebody clicks on an ad and we're running it on an ad platform that's putting it all over the internet on a bunch of different websites, we can tell what website that click came from. We can tell how many times somebody saw that ad in relation to how many people actually clicked on it. When somebody signs up to our newsletter, we can tell exactly how many people visited the form to sign up to that newsletter and how many people ended up clicking on it and where they came from, what websites they were on. We can tell a lot about these people, including their gender, age, various demographics. We can get a lot of really good data, and this is all stuff that happened in real time. That's the cool thing about online marketing, is that not only do we get real results that we can actually measure and assign a dollar value to, we can get those results very quickly. Like the day that we run an ad, we can get data back on how well that ad's performing. It allows us to see right away, okay, where are we getting our best bang for our buck? Where are we getting the best results for the least amount of money? And then we know to allocate more of our marketing budget there because we know it's going to give us the best results, the best return on our investment. And unfortunately, you just don't have a lot of these benefits from a branding strategy. Now, branding strategies work really, really well, and some of the biggest companies, most of the biggest companies in the world, focus on a branding strategy. And the reason that they can do that is because they have millions and millions of dollars to throw at marketing and just getting their name all over the place. So a branding strategy is a long-term strategy that's primarily focused on creating awareness and reaching a broad audience. So a few examples are, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Budweiser, McDonald's, like all of these companies pay a ton of money just to get their image, their logo all over the place so that you see them and you think about them constantly. And they can afford to do that because they have such huge advertising budgets. Coca-Cola spends $3.3 billion or something like that a year just on making sure that everybody remembers who they are all the time. So it's a very, very effective approach. It's what major record labels do to promote big-time artists like, Katy Perry or Kanye West. But if you don't have millions of dollars, it really just isn't very effective. There's not really any way to make it effective unless you can throw a lot of money at it. So this is kind of what a branding strategy would look like for an artist. You have their label putting their image on billboards. You have them in magazines, on television, on radio. They will be doing some online advertising too, of course. You have them touring, and this is stuff, of course, they might use some direct response type of stuff, but they're putting money into all this other stuff too because they just want everybody in the world to see this artist. And it doesn't matter if 90% of them don't buy the album because they've got such a huge audience that even 10% of the people that respond to this stuff, if they pay money for albums or go see the artist on tour, then the label makes back a ton of money. And this approach works, but it's not very measurable in a lot of ways. So like let's say that we're a record label and we're promoting this artist and we put their billboard on Sunset Strip in Hollywood, or paying to get promotion on the radio, where we're getting them in magazines. And then, when somebody goes to iTunes and downloads the album, we know that our marketing's been effective because people are buying the music, but we don't know if that person is responding to the billboard, the magazine, the radio, all of the above. We really don't know what part of this strategy is the most effective. And with direct response, we know exactly what part of our strategy is the most effective, and we know that we can scale more quickly and more effectively by putting our money in that one area. So just a quick recap of the difference between branding and direct response. A branding strategy is going to be expensive. Not that it's ineffective, but it's going to cost a lot of money. It's also very difficult to measure, and even the aspects of it that we can measure, we don't get those results back immediately like we would with online marketing doing direct response. And the results are more long-term, whereas with direct response, Anybody can get started on any budget. It's very easy to measure, and you can get immediate results. You get immediate feedback on exactly who's downloading your albums, who's subscribing to your newsletter, and you can react to that and allocate your marketing budget properly so that you get the best results. It's very important as independent artists that we think about this sort of things. It's not as important to major labels because they have so much money, but as an independent artist, you have a very, very small budget for promoting yourself, and you need to be very, very meticulous about how you spend that money. So a direct response approach is going to be what we're doing. In the next few videos, I'm going to explain a little bit more about how it works. And in the next video, I'm going to explain to you why it's so important to get your fans' email address. So I'll see you in the next video.